For the Easter Tournament hole 1, I will be using my APOC 5 and 6. If you have an APOC 4, I would go with a Power 4 ball. If you have an EM 7 and 8, I would also use a Power 4 ball, but you can make it over with a Power 3 ball. What I will be doing is max top spin and max right spin on this shot, but what I would change is max top spin and I would change it to 1 left spin instead so that my second shot has a different angle. You then adjust your shot with a 10% over adjustment and then push up to max, full overpower with a little bit of baby right curl. The reason I would use left spin on the drive, like 1 left spin, is to come at this second shot at a little bit better of an angle. This angle works, but it is a little difficult. I adjusted my shot with a 10% over adjustment, and I use this at 65% slider of my club, about 3 backspin with 1 right spin, and I aimed at the left edge of the cup. So if you do come at this angle, I would do left edge of the cup with 3 bars of backspin and about 1 bar of right spin, and then over adjust your shot with a 10% over adjustment at the slider of your club. For hole 2, I started at the plus 6 yard mark with my Sniper 10, full backspin with 2 topspin. What I need to do is actually only go up 1 topspin instead and trust the ball guide and do max right spin. I think I'll still start at the plus 6 yard mark with my white ring touching the rough and not do any curl this time and just do a regular shot. If you do try this shot again, try not doing any curl and then adjust your shot at max distance with a 10% over adjustment. For hole 3, we're just going to blast it down the fairway. You're going to use the Zerk ball and you're going to use the club with the most topspin you have available. Your big topper more than likely, or your APOC 6 or your Thor 6 if you have a Thor 6. If you don't have those, I would use your big topper with full overpower, full topspin, and maybe 1 left spin. Aim down the middle and do a little bit of left curl as you do your overpower, and then don't forget to pack your big dog or your kata for the second shot. For the second shot, I'm using my kata since it's a little bit better than my big dog, and I'm going to do max backspin, max right spin. I'm going to have my red ring by the sand bunker, and I'm going to adjust my shot at max distance with an over adjustment of 10%. Now we're not going to probably more than likely get the albatross on here, but I'm just trying to get it on the fairway or on the green for an easy putt or an easy chip for eagle. If you do get far up on the fairway, you probably could bounce over for a possible albatross, but I wussed out. So it is up to you if you want to try and bounce over if you are up far enough, and that might actually play at like a 5% or a 0%. For hole 4, again, you're going to want to use the driver with the most topspin that you have. Here I have a Thor 6 and I'm going to use a Power 3 ball. I'm going to use all but 1 bar of topspin on my Thor 6, and I'm going to use max right spin. I'm going to aim just to the left of the sand bunker, adjust my shot with a 10% over adjustment, and then push up to max. I'm then going to use slight right curl, and then if you want to give it a little bit of overpower you can, but the last time I did full topspin I ended up going into the rough on the far side. So be careful with this shot that you don't go into the rough. It's better to be a little short than going into the rough. So for the second shot, I played at 0% elevation and at the slider of my club. Now I came in just above the hole and I had aimed for the hole. So this either tells me I can continue playing at 0% and offset my guide below the hole, just like below the cup, or it is probably a minus 5% elevation because I over-adjusted just a tad. For hole 5, I will be using my rock 8. I will be starting at the 0 yard mark. If you have a rock 7, you will start at the plus 5 yard mark with your power 3 ball. I am using 3 backspin with 4 left spin. You are going to aim 3 dark rows over and 3 dark squares up with your rock 8. If you have a rock 7, you're only going to go up 2 dark squares instead of the 3 with your rock 8. You are then going to over-adjust your shot with a 10% elevation at max distance of your club. With the power 3 in your app, do not switch to a power 0 at the 0 yard mark. You want to keep the power 3 in your app. The offset for 3 rows over is the same with a rock 7 and 8, so you want to go over 3 dark rows over to your right. With a rock 7, you're going to go up 3 squares, and with a rock 8, you're going to go up 5 squares. So the third dark square for a rock 8 and the second dark square for a rock 7. For hole 6, we are going to choose our quarterback and a power 3 ball. Instead of going 1 top and 1 left, you're going to go 2 top and 1 left. We are basically going to be aiming for the tree. Now, if the wind is higher, you're going to go a little bit more left of the tree, and if the wind is lower, you're going to go a little bit more right of the tree, but not by a lot. So just aim for that tree, and then you're going to do full curl and take off just a little bit of curl, and then do a full hook or slice in this matter. For the second shot, you can go either straight over or you can do the rough bump. It's up to you on how you would like to play this. I decided to play over since I was at max distance of my club. I wanted to try it out and see if it worked. I did almost max backspin and full right spin. I then adjusted my shot with a 20% over adjustment at the slider of my club, which was at max distance. So if you do the rough bump, it will still be a 20% over adjustment if you end up doing the rough bump at the slider of your club. For hole 7, we are going to the right side. No matter what club you have, you are going to go to the right side. You're going to use max right spin with 2 top spin and 2 top spin only. You're then going to adjust and see how much overpower you need, basically, or how many rings you need to push up after your adjustment. So here I need 2 rings. Now you can either adjust your shot with a 10% over adjustment and then push up 2 rings, or you can take your elevation -2 and adjust that way as well. So again, it is a 10% over adjustment for this shot, and you want to push up as many rings as you need to make sure you hit that pad, and then take a normal shot. For For the second shot, I used the slider of my club and I used a 5% elevation. I hit great left and the ball came in great left, so I believe this second shot is a 5% over adjustment instead of a 10. But it could be wrong, but try a 5%. If it comes in left or right, then you know that you can either increase it or decrease it. You will need about 2 bars of topspin to get into the hole though. For hole 8, I played at min minus 5% elevation for this shot. You're going to use 1.2 backspin, and I used 2 and I think a half left spin. And this shot either needs to be offset more to the left or it needs more left spin, because minus 5% was still way over adjusted. So it's either minus 10% is the next one that I might try, or just try doing more left spin with more of an offset. For hole 9, you're either going to use your big topper or a Thor 6. Anything with the most topspin that you have. I am going to play with a power 5 ball, full topspin, 1 left spin. Then I'm going to adjust my shot with a 10% over adjustment and push up to max. Make sure you do not do too much overpower on this shot, or you risk going into the sand. So here I just did slight overpower, and it was just good enough to where I didn't hit the rough, but I was pretty close. So be careful of your overpower when you do take this shot. For my second shot, I used the kata, and I played this at a 5% elevation. So what I think it actually plays is actually a plus 10% over adjustment, since it's a strong tailwind. So I would actually play this shot with a 10% over adjustment, because I was actually aiming for the rough and I missed the rough. Luckily I didn't put any spin on the ball because I wanted to see how it came in, and I just missed it and it didn't go flying off. But still, I still think this shot is actually played at a plus 10 instead of a plus 5. If you do end up missing and it rolls off the back, the chip is fairly easy. So remember guys, hit perfect and happy golfing. Good luck this weekend, guys.